Israel's Black Lives Matter movement turning political now. This week, several politicians and lawmakers visiting the grieving family of a killed Ethiopian-Israeli teenager who was unarmed and gunned down by an off-duty officer on the streets of Haifa. That led to days of violent protests across Israel. Thousands of Ethiopian Israelis demonstrating against what they say is rampant police brutality and racism. There will be no protests this weekend, though, because of the request of Solomon Tekah's family, but the movement will be back next week. Now, a top IDF general, the commander of the Southern Command, is weighing in on the issue, sending an internal letter to the commanders of battalions and brigades showing support for the fight against racism and encouraging Ethiopian soldiers to continue their activism, but without violence. The victim, Solomon Tekah, was just a few weeks away from enlisting himself in the IDF. With me now in studio is Elias Inbram. Elias is a social activist with the Ethiopian-Israeli community and attorney. What do you think happens then next week, the next step in this movement? The family, Solomon Tekah's family, asking that during the Shiva, the mourning period, there would be no more protests. Next week, do you think that protesters will again go to the streets, or perhaps now there'll be a different way of doing it, going to the Knesset, writing lawmakers, meeting with lawmakers? What's the next step?
Well, I think there is no reason to meet anyone. I don't understand why Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met case and rabbis, to reconcile the situation. Because at the end of the day, Benjamin Netanyahu has to talk with the demonstrators. I have to tell you that most of the demonstrators are educated and very, very smart. And I can tell you that all the announcement from Benjamin Netanyahu and Gilad Erdan saying, we understand, you are free to demonstrate under the frame of freedom of speech, but follow the law.
It did turn violent. These protests did turn violent and caused property damage and blocked roads. People got hurt. Officers got hurt.
Yeah, just to complete the sentence, follow the law. But they didn't say anything about the police who murdered the young guy.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think as long as the police authority or the Israeli government are not doing a serious action among the Israeli police, the protest will continue, I guess, next week, but not at the same form, but a bit different.